Hello, everyone. I hope all is well with you guys. Great Saturday, February 6th. It's 1 o'clock, and we're going to get started. So, today, our first interview is going to be me. So, as always, the show always begins with I believe in 6 degrees of separation, has been proven several times since I started this show. You're one person away, one advice away, one opportunity away from where you need to be. I need someone in your circle. You need somebody in my circle, and we'll connect and we're heading in the right direction. I had someone else that was supposed to come on the show, but of course, things happen. Life happens, and guess what? You got to move on and continue to move on. And so today, in honor of Black History Month, this is what we're going to talk about. I'm going to put some tad bits out here, and we're going to do some personal talking with myself, and then we're going to go on. Later on, we have two more people that I'm going to talk to at the 2 o'clock hour and the 3 o'clock hour. So we're still going to have fun. We're still going to have a great conversation on today. Again, this is Black History Month, so we're going to honor that as well. And while I'm doing that, I have some shout outs to do. Also, if you guys need advertising, if you want to be a sponsor to the show, to the Keeping It Real Conversations with Sunshine, please do so. I need your help. You can inbox me. You can go to the radio station at grooveradiodetroit.com and look for my show, or you can get with Larry and get in tune with me. Also, Facebook Live. You can inbox me on my Facebook channel, which is Sunshine Kamela. You also can message me on YouTube, which is the Keeping It Real Conversations with Sunshine. Inbox me and I'll get back with you and we can go over prices. Okay. Also, I have a prayer call that needs to be announced. I'm so excited for this young lady. And I'm going to give you the information right now. It is with Apostle Rosalind Watson. And it's a 12-hour shut in. No more kibble and bits. Again, this is going to be Friday, February 12th to February 13th. Again, this is a 12-hour shut in. No more kibble and bits. It will be at the Destiny on Purpose Deliverance Church, which is 10626 West Chicago, Detroit, Michigan 48204. The address again is Destiny on Purpose Deliverance Church, which so happens is my church. 10626 West Chicago, Detroit, Michigan 48204, starting at 9 p.m. on Friday, February 12th. 12-hour shift, a shut in. No more kibbles and bits. If you want to let her know that you're coming, this is again Apostle Rosalind Watson, or you can get in touch with the staff at Destiny on Purpose Church. And of course, this is free. I'll announce this later on. All right. So, since in the honor of Black History Month, we're going to talk about history. I got a couple of things that I want to talk about. And before I get into what I'm going to get into, I remember Run DMC did a song called Proud to Be Black. This was in 19, let me get the exact year so I don't just be saying stuff. 1986 on the album from Run DMC, Raising Hell. Now, I don't rap. I sing, but I don't rap. But I thought it was befitting for Black history that we say the lyrics to this song. Funny thing is, those issues from 1986 is still happening right now. Also, I want to put out here, if you have not seen American Skin, I advise you strongly to see this movie. It is prevalent again to this day. And it's on the synopsis, of course, is racial profiling on the cop side. And a young boy gets murdered, innocent murder, basically. And a father trying to take this crime into his own hands. The movie had me in tears because this has been happening. It's been happening, and it has continued to happen over the years. And just so happenly with phones and cell phones and the cameras and things that they have been catching it on camera, but even in having it caught on camera, some things are still doesn't work out in our favor. But just know, even in this, God sees all. And when people think that they got away with something, they really didn't. So I'm going to read the lyrics of Run DMC, Proud to Be Black. I'm going to omit the cuss words. There are not a lot of them, but they are, just to prove the point. But I want you guys to know that this song still relevant today as it was when they wrote it and released it in 1986. Give me just 1 second, you guys. So the lyrics goes like this. And no, I'm not going to rap it because I can't rap. So it says, I'm proud to be black, y'all. And that's a fact, y'all. And if you try to take what's mine, I'll take it back, y'all. It's like that. Listen, party people, here's a serious song. It's right, not wrong. I should say right on. I got to tell you something that you should all know. It's not a mystery, it's history. And here how it goes. Now, Harriet Tubman was born a slave. She was a tiny black woman when she was raised. She was living to be given. There's a lot that she gave. There's not a slave in this day and age. I'm proud to be black, y'all. Black, I'm tired, my man. Don't worry about what color I am because I'll show you how this man can act. It can never be fiction because it's all fact. And if you get in my way, I will not turn back. I'm proud of my name. My name is Daryl Mack. I'm black and I'm proud. I'll say it loud. I'll share my story with the whole crowd. I'm proud to be black, y'all, and that's the fact, y'all. And when you try to take what's mine, I'll take back it, y'all. And that's like that. DJ run and I run these things. You can hear it loud and clear like when the school bell rings. Like Martin Luther King, I will do my thing. I'll say it in a rap because I do not sing. DMC, the man that's causing the beef. I got a message for the world, so lesson up is brief. Like Malcolm X said, I won't turn the right cheek. Got the strength to do go I got the strength to go the length. If you want to start beef, then start the beef. You know I'm proud to be black, y'all. I real brave, y'all. And it's I can never be a slave, y'all. So take that. We're going to tell y'all something. Put your mind in a swirl. God bless the next baby that comes in this world. The world's full of hate, description, and sin. People judging other people by the color of their skin. I'll take this matter in my own way. Man, I ain't no slave and I ain't really no hay. Written a deposition in any condition. Don't get in my way because I'm full of ambition. I'm proud to be black and I ain't taking no crap. I'm fresh off the pack and I'm proud to be black. So take that. There was a man, an inventor, who invented so well. He invented a fortune for a man named Bell. George Washington Carver made the peanut great, so any man with the mind could create. You read about Malcolm X in the history text. Jesse Owens broke records. Ali broke necks. What's wrong with y'all, man? How can you be so dumb? Like Dr. King said, we shall overcome. That was a mouthful. But again, like I said in the beginning, proud to be black is still important as it was when they wrote this song in 1986. It's still prevalent on February 6th of 2021. Yes, indeed. So again, while we're doing that, I'm getting ready for the next section and we're paying homage to our history. So give me just one moment while I get everything situated. Let's see here. So I got this out of the Oprah magazine. And she says that our editors handpick the products that we feature, of course. The headline said 26 Black Americans you don't know but should know. Now, usually with Black history, we hear the big names. We don't always hear all the people that have something to do with Black history or um, prominent inventors and abolitionaries and things of that nature. They don't always tell us everything. But there are some people that I was surprised about while I was reading the material. I thought you guys should know. Some people on the list that you know, and then like it said in the title, some you should know. Um, hold on. So let's go down the list. These hidden figures deserve to be celebrated. So today I choose to celebrate them on this show. Some of these people, again, I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing if it wasn't for my ancestors, those I've heard and those I don't know. And I'm taking time, again, Black History Month is every day. It's not just February. Just like you serve God not just on Sunday, you serve him every day, hopefully. So, with that being said, our history is every day that I breathe. I pray homage to my ancestors. So, when it comes to pioneers in African American history, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, Maya Angelou, James Baldwin, and Muhammad Ali are often mentioned, and rightfully so. But what do you know about other Black history heroes like Claudette Colvin, Alice Coachman, Shirley Chisholm? If their names don't immediately ring a bell, you're not alone. Educators, activists, and historians have long been attempting to shine a light and pinpoint why so much African American history is missing from nations' curriculums for all the regular people to know who they are. Those populated the colonies were free people from communities in Africa with large scale civilizations that had tax systems, that had irrigation systems, that had universities. They came from civilized nations that were advanced. University of Texas at Austin history professor said that where the curriculum should begin, that's the biggest omission from my perspective. It's an issue of culture and heritage, so that identities of African Americans, for some, are that of slaves and those fighting for their freedom, have been omitted. We're shining a long overdue spotlight on the hidden figures of untaught history who deserve to be celebrated for their contributions to civil rights, politics, the arts, and beyond. And remember to acknowledge their impact outside of Black History Month, which I just said, as they've made way for many of the 21st century's most famous faces to shine today. Again, we don't take our history lightly at all. Everybody should be celebrated for their contributions of what they did to history on today. It's basically a build on build. This is not no, as they say, the term crabs in a bucket. We're not doing that. We're going to give flowers to those who need flowers. While even though some of these are deceased, we're still going to recognize their name. So there's 26 of them, and anytime that I have a chance, I will do this all month. Um, and I just might do one every time I do a show, regardless of February. We'll see how things go. So the first one we have is Shirley Chisholm, 1924 to 2005. Congress is more diverse now than it's ever been. However, when Chisholm was attempting to shatter the glass ceiling, the same couldn't be said. During the racial contentious period in the late 60s, she became the first Black woman elected to Congress. She represented New York's 12th district from 1969 to 1983, and in 1972, she became the first woman to run for the Democratic Party's presidential nomination. Her campaign slogan, "Unbought and Unbossed," rings even louder today. Kamilah Harris recently paid tribute to Chisholm in her presidential campaign announcement by using a similar slogan to Chisholm's. 2. Bayard Rustin, 1912 to 1987. Dr. King is usually credited for the March on Washington in August 1963, but it was Rustin who organized and strategically in the shadows. As a gay man who had controversially ties to communism, he was considered too much of a liability to be on the front lines of the movement. Nonetheless, he was considered to be one of the most brilliant minds and served his community tirelessly while pushing for more jobs and better wages. And that's what we're talking about today. 3. Claudette Colvin, 1939, and it looks like she's still alive. Before Parks refused to give up her seat on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, there was a brave 15-year-old who chose not to sit at the back of the bus. That young girl was Colvin, touting her constitutional rights to remain seated near the middle of the vehicle. Colvin challenged the driver and was subsequently arrested. She was the first woman to be detained for her resistance. However, her story isn't nearly as well known as Rosa Parks. Number 4, Annie Lee Cooper, 1910 to 2010. The Selma, Alabama native played a crucial part in the 1965 Selma voting rights movement. But it wasn't until Oprah played her in the 2014 Oscar nominated film Selma that people really took notice of Cooper's activism. She is lauded for punching Alabama Sheriff Jim Clark in the face, but she really deserves to be celebrated for fighting to restore and protect voting rights. Didn't we have to do that too? Number 5, Dorothy Height, 1912 to 2010. Hailed as the godmother of the women's movement, Height used her background in education and social work to advance women's rights. She was a leader in the Young Women's Christian Association and the president of the National Council of Negro Women for more than 40 years. She was also among the few women present at the 1963 March on Washington, where Dr. King delivered his famous I Have a Dream speech. Jesse Owens, 1913 to 1980. Owens was a track and field athlete who set a world record in long jump at the 1936 Olympic Games in Berlin and went unrivaled for 25 years. He won 4 gold medals at the Olympics that year in the 100 and the 200-meter dashes, along with the 100-meter relay and other events off the track. In 1976, Owens received the Presidential Medal of Freedom and was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal in 1990. Bessie Coleman, 1892 to 1926. Despite being the first licensed Black pilot in the world, let me say that one more time. She was the first licensed Black pilot in the world, not just the United States. Coleman wasn't recognized as a pioneer in aviation until after her death. Though history has favored Amelia Earhart or the Wright brothers, Coleman, who went to flight school in France in 1919, paved the way for a new generation of diverse flyers like the Tuskegee Airmen, Blackbirds, and Flying Hobos. Robert Abbott, 1870 to 1940. Without Abbott's creative vision, many of the Black publications of today, such as Ebony, Essence, Black Enterprise, and Upscale, wouldn't even exist. In 1905, Abbott founded the Chicago Defender weekly newspaper. The paper originally started out as a 4-page pamphlet, increasing its circulation with every edition. Abbott and his newspaper played a part in encouraging African Americans to migrate from the South for better and economic opportunities. Ethel Waters, 1896 to 1977. Waters first entered the entertainment business in the 1920s as a blues singer, but she made history for her work in television, in addition to becoming the first African American to star in her own TV show in 1939, The Ethel Waters Show. She was nominated for her first Emmy in 1962. Gwendolyn Brooks, 1917 to 2000. Today's Brooke is considered to be one of the most revered poets of the 20th century. She was the first Black author to win the Pulitzer Prize in 1950 for Annie Ellen. She served as poetry consultant to the Library of Congress, becoming the first Black woman to hold that position. Many of her works reflected the political and social landscape of the 1960s, including the civil rights movement and the economic climate. Alice Coachman, 1923 to 2014. Growing up in Albany, Georgia, the soon to be track star got an early start running on dirt roads and jumping over makeshift hurdles. She became the first African American woman from any country to win an Olympic gold medal at the 1948 Summer Olympics in London. She set the record for the high jump at the Games, leaping a jumping 5 feet and 6 1/8 inches. Throughout her athletic career, she won 34 national titles, 10 of which were in high jump. She was officially inducted into the National Track and Field Hall of Fame in 1975 and the U.S. Olympic Hall of Fame in 2004. Gordon Parks, 1912 to 2006. Parks was the first African American on the staff of Life magazine. He later would be responsible for some of the most beautiful imagery in the pages of Vogue. He also was the first black director of a major film. Guess which one? Shaft. Helping to shape the era in the 70s. Parks famously told Life in 1999, I saw that the camera could be a weapon against poverty, against racism, against all sorts of social wrongs. I knew at that point I had to have a camera. Jane Bolin, 1908 to 2007, a pioneer in law. Jane Bolin was the first Black woman to attend Yale Law School in 1931. In 1939, she became the first Black female judge in the United States, where she served for 10 years. One of her significant contributions throughout her career was working with private employers to hire people based on their skills, as opposed to discrimination against them because of their race. She also served on boards of the NAACP, Childware League of America, and the Neighborhood Children's Center. Maria P. Williams, 1866 to 1932. Thanks to the early accomplishments of Williams, as the first Black woman to produce, write, and act in her own movie in 1923, The Flames of Wrath. We have female directors and producers like Oprah, Ava, and Shonda. Beyond film, the former Kansas City teacher was an activist and detailed her leadership skills in the book she authored, My Work and Public Sentiment, in 1916. Minnie Riperton, 1947 to 1979. Mariah Carey is heralded for her whistle registry, which is the highest the human voice is capable of reaching. But Riperton perfected that singing technique years before and was best known for her 5 octave vocal range. The whistling can be heard on her biggest hit to date, Loving You. The infectious ballad was originally created as an ode to her daughter, Maya Rudolph, of Bridesmaids and Saturday Night Live fame. However, before she could become a real household name, unfortunately, she died in 1979 at the age of 31 from breast cancer. Ruby Bridges, 1954, and she's still alive today. Bridges probably had no idea that the bold act she committed in 1960 would set off a chain reaction leading to the integration of schools in the South. She was just 6 years old when she became the first African American student to attend William Fretz Elementary in Louisiana. at the height of desegregation. She is now the chair of the Ruby Bridges Foundation, which was formed in 1999 to promote the values of tolerance, respect, appreciation for all differences. I actually had to do a report on this person. Mae Jemison, 1956, and she's still alive. Mae Jemison wasn't just the first African American woman who orbited into space aboard the shuttle Endeavour. She's also a physician, teacher, a Peace Corps volunteer, and president of a tech company, the Jemison Group. She continues to work towards the advancement of young women of color, getting more involved in technology, engineering, and math careers. Again, she went to space, y'all. Marian Anderson, I had to do her in elementary school. 1897 to 1993. Though she's considered one of the greatest contraltos in the world, Anderson was often denied the opportunity to show off her unique vocal range because of her race. However, things started to change in 1957 when she went on a 12-nation tour sponsored by the Department of State and the American National Theater and Academy. She documented the experience in her autobiography, My Lord, What a Morning. In 1963, she was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Her last major accomplishment before her death was receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Grammys in 1991. I am so excited for our people. Rose Marie McCoy, 1922 to 2015. McCoy's name might not be instantly recognizable, but she wrote and produced some of the biggest pop songs in the 1950s. In an industry dominated by white males, McCoy was able to make her mark through her pen, even if she couldn't through her own voice. Her songs, After All and Gabin Blues, never quite took off on the charts, but she was courted by music labels to write for her other artists, including hit songs for Big Maybelline, Big Mabel, I'm sorry, Big Mabel, Elvis Presley, and Big Joe Turner. So now when you hear Priestley's Trying to Get You, you remember the name of the African American woman who wrote it, Rose Marie McCoy. Phyllis Wheatley, 1754 to 1784. The West African born poet spent most of her life enslaved, working for John Wheatley and his wife as a servant in the mid 1700s. Despite never having received a formal education, Whitley became the first American and third woman to publish a book of poems entitled Poems on Various Subjects. However, she died before securing a publisher for her second volume of poetry and letters. You can see the monument erected for her at the Boston Women's Memorial. Alvin Ailey, 1931 to 1989. Ailey was an acclaimed dancer and choreographer who earned global recognition for his impact on modern dance. After honing his technique at the Lester Horton Dance Theater and acting as his director until its 1954 disbandment. Ailey wished to choreograph his own ballets and works that differ from the traditional pieces of the time. This inspired him to start the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater in 1958 at a multiracial troupe that provided a platform for talented black dancers and traveled around the world. His most popular piece, Revelations, is an ode to Southern Black Church. Ailey died of an AIDS related illness at 58, but the company still exists today in New York City. Ella Baker, 1903 to 1986. Baker was an essential activist during the Civil Rights Movement. She was a field secretary and branch director for the NAACP. Also, co-founded an organization that raised money to fight Jim Crow laws. Additionally, Baker was a key organizer for Martin Luther King Jr.'s Southern Christian Leadership Conference. But what she was really known for, her biggest contribution to the movement, was the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, which prioritized nonviolent protests, assisted in organizing the 1961 Freedom Rides, and aided in registering Black voters. The Ailey Baker Center for Human Rights exists today to carry on her legacy. Benjamin O. Davis Sr., 1880 to 1970. Benjamin O. Davis Sr. was the first Black general in the American military. He served for 50 years as a temporary first lieutenant at all Black unit during the Spanish American War. Throughout his service, Davis Sr. was a professor of military science at Tuskegee and Wilberforce University, a commander of the 369th Regiment, New York National Guard, and special assistant to the Secretary of the Army. When he retired in 1948, President Harry Truman oversaw the public ceremony. Davis Sr. today is buried at Arlington National Cemetery. And Henriette Lake, 1920 to 1951. After being diagnosed with cervical cancer at the Johns Hopkins Hospital in 1951, a sample of Lack's cancer cells were taken without her consent by a researcher. Though she succumbed to the disease at the age of 31, that same year, her cells will go on to advance medical research for years to come, as they have the unique ability to double every 20 to 24 hours. They have been used to test the effects of radiation and poisons, to study the human genome, to learn more about how viruses work, and played a crucial role in the development of the polio vaccine from Johns Hopkins. That's what he said. In 2017, Oprah starred in and executive produced HBO's The Immortal Life in Henrietta Lacks, adapted from the book by Rebecca Skloot. And the last one for today, Dr. Rebecca Lee Crumpler, 1831 to 1895. Rebecca Lee Crumpler was the first Black female doctor in the United States. After attending the prestigious Massachusetts private school, West Newton English and Classical School, she worked as a nurse for 8 years until applying to medical school in 1860. At the New England Female Medical College, she was accepted and would go on to graduate 4 years later. Though little is known for her career, PBS reported that she worked as a physician for the Freedmen's Bureau for the state of Virginia. She later practiced in Boston's predominantly Black neighborhood at the time, Beacon Hill, and published a book of medical discourses in 2 parts. So let's talk. I have read to you 26 people that some might have known about and some we didn't know. It is countless people that have done so many exploits, have done so many things for not just Black people, but for the world at large. There were things that we have invented, and but patents were stolen. Things were stolen from us. that you have no idea, just to brush your hair, just to straighten your hair and things of that nature, came from someone that looked like me. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not racist at all, but I will say Black people are the most courageous, creative beings there are. We can make something out of nothing. We can make some things that you'd be like, how did you how did you come up with that? I have dealt with racism on my own, with people being upfront and in your face with the racism. I have seen this close to my face with the Ku Klux Klan being right in front of me, marching down the street, fully clothed in their sheets and having their shotguns out. I have read about these encounters. I have seen them in movies. But in 1996, I experienced it for myself. When you start going to jobs where they look at you and think you don't have skills, I have had some of the best jobs that it takes a lifetime for some people to have. I was blessed with intelligence. I love computers. I love administration things. I love typing. I have had jobs with customer service. But you have dealt with some types of people. And don't get me wrong, some of these things come from our own kind. But one thing about it, you can take them, you can learn from them, use the experience to better life, not just because of a race. But no, I would not be here. I would not be talking to you. I wouldn't have a radio show. I wouldn't have Facebook Live or any of things, or the ability to get up in front of people, if I didn't have my ancestors who done it before me, who went on stage and killed it. If I didn't have anybody before me, let's go locally. My own mother was an RN nurse for 20 something years. I had it right before me. My father was a manager of a security company. He was the second man in charge. He and when in his position, which we should do, is connect people. My dad gave some of the guys in my neighborhood jobs to get them off the street. Yes, he did. That's how he was. People in my neighborhood, we all pushed each other. It was a village for real. I had Nuke on here last week, and he talked about, growing up in Chicago. He didn't have the effects of that because the village made sure he was too good. We wasn't gonna let this happen to him. Push him, and then what he does, he'll come back and he'll take care of us. That's how it goes. We may have been dealt the the worst of the worst. We may have been given wrong plies and all of these things, setups, but you can't keep us down. You never will. If we didn't have anything to say, we will moan it. Come up with music. Come up with writing our feelings out. As you can see, we on a national platform. We had a female vice president, a young poet, bestseller already, and only 22 something years old. You'll never stop us. Never. We'll just take the challenges and smash them. And we'll do better than you even thought that we would do. Sometimes we surprise our own self. So I want to shout out to all those of this skin, this beautiful skin that we have. I want to shout you guys out. You're awesome. You're beautiful and wonderfully made. There's nothing wrong with you. Don't let the media tell you there's something wrong with your lips, something wrong with your hips, something wrong with your breasts, something wrong with your hair. I'm good the way I was made. Seriously, I'm so excited in this position that we're in. Now is the time. Go forward. Go high. We all been always been athletic, but we have brains. Always have brains. Blood plasma, brain surgery. Come on now. In almost every area on this planet, we had something to do with it. Don't you ever forget that. The ladies from Hidden Figures, the movie, helped with NASA, smart math that nobody else could do but her. Come on now. Don't you ever think that we don't amount to nothing, both male and females. We are some bad individuals. Know that. You got people who want to copy you. Know that. So be proud of who you are. Be proud of where you came from, because we can't go forward without having our past with us. So I'm excited today. I'm excited to share parts of Black history. I'm excited that I'm a part of Black history. We might not get all the kudos that we're supposed to, but as long as I'm able to talk, as long as I'm able to open my mouth and smile and have eyes and have a brain, I'm helping as many people that want to be helped. If you have connections, if you have an organization, if you have things that you want to say and things you want to do, long as there's nothing going to harm nobody, I'm all for it. This is where the 6 degrees of separation come in. I need you just like you need me. Let's connect. Let's help somebody. If it's counseling, whatever it is. And while I have these last 10 minutes, I just want to shout out to on Monday, my dad will be deceased, have would been deceased 5 years. 5 years. And I stand here, well, I'm sitting on the couch, but I'm sitting here being all that I can be because of my dad, because of my mom. I have two great parents that gave me life, gave me a chance to be me. And I want to say, I miss my dad, but I'm good. I'm good. And uh, I didn't remember how much he meant the world to me until I started thinking about Black history. My dad worked for a security company until he couldn't work anymore because he was on he was a kidney patient. He worked for a predominantly white company. He was the only Black man there, and he persevered. He would come home tired. He worked long hours. But eventually, he opened the door. And when he got to that place where he had authority, where he had something to say, where he had something that would help somebody else, he reached back to his neighborhood. He reached back to his family and he brought us in. Those people became like my uncles. I remember it like it was yesterday. I didn't feel no racial anything because they got to know him as a person and not because of his skin. When I experienced the Ku Klux Klan issue, I wanted to leave Ann Arbor. I wanted to leave Ypsilanti. I called my grandmother and she said, "You will not leave because our ancestors gave you an opportunity to be in that place on a university that you weren't supposed to be there." So you take every experience. It might hurt and you might question why. Why is this happening to me? You'll know later on why. You'll know why. So I got to be in a place where I seen so many minorities there, so many that look like me, so many people who would have never had the opportunity at the University of Michigan in Arbor. I was there. I didn't get a chance to graduate, but I spent 2 years there and it was the best time of my life. But I know some people that came in that class with me that are now doctors, that are lawyers, who are designers. If I ever need any of them, they look like me. So, enough of the mushy stuff. I was not supposed to be crying on TV. Yeah. So, it's my job to help everyone, not just black people, but everyone. That's why I'm here. So, thank you guys. Please like and share the video. I have another person coming up at 2 o'clock with Rashard Tucker, who is now, he was just on not too long ago where we're talking about his spot in the Highland Park and how he has a mural on his building. But now he's the proud owner of a pizza joint in Highland Park. When I say I know people that are doing well, but we're not supposed to. This is why I have them on my show so you'll know with a shot of a doubt, we some bad people. All we need is support. And at 3 o'clock, I have my friend who God gave her comedy. As the scripture says, laughter is good for the heart. It's medicine. She went through some serious ordeal and she's still dealing with it. But God gave her comedy to help heal her soul. So Drea Burks will be on at 3 o'clock. And again, you guys, please like and share the video. Go on to the YouTube channel, Keeping It Real Conversations with Sunshine. Please like and share and subscribe. Please support. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.